Hi guys, so today I am bringing you a review of Wildwood by Colin Meloy, and I actually looked up the pronunciation, so be very proud of me. I think I pronounced that correctly, because I actually have an issue with pronouncing people's names incorrectly in my videos apparently. And it is illustrated by Carson Ellis. As you can tell, this is a beautiful book. It's wonderfully illustrated on the outside. I have the softback edition and I'm actually going to buy the hardback edition because I've seen pictures of it and it's beautiful, and I have the second one in the series and I'm going to return it and buy the hardback one because they're just really nicely done. And it's got the deckled edges, which I really like. So this is a fantasy book and it is a children's book. It's in, at least at chapters anyways. It was in the 9 to 12 section. I wouldn't necessarily let a child as young as 9 read this. It deals with some pretty dark themes. There is lots of death, there's war, there's torture. Not necessarily things I would let a small child read about, but it is very good. So it follows the story of Prue, her brother Mac, and her friend Curtis. And what happens is Prue is growing up in Portland. If you've seen any of Portlandia's videos, for example, Put a Bird on It, you will recognize a lot of things about Portland in this. It's a very, especially in the beginning, a very hipster themed book. She rides around on her one-speed bicycle, she draws pictures of birds and is kind of obsessed with them, and it's really funny. If you're reading it, I don't think a kid would pick up on the hipster kind of tones in it, but it is a very stereotypical hipster book. I didn't think that was possible, but it is. But after you get past that, it starts with Prue and her brother Mac are running errands for their parents, and her brother Mac is about 1, so he's quite small, and they stop in a park and he is abducted by a murder of crows and taken into the impassable wilderness. So Prue and her friend Curtis have to go and rescue him. And it's quite a great journey. You get to see the makings of different governments. There's Southwood, there's Northwood, there's Wildwood, there's the Avarian Principality, which is fantastic. Its leader is an owl, which is really cool. And they get separated pretty early on, so you get to follow both perspectives of Curtis and Prue, and you really get to explore the whole impassable wilderness. It's quite a remarkable book. Some of my favorite things about it are the illustrations that are throughout it, and I've kind of flagged a couple of my favorite ones as I was reading it. This is one of the bandits, and he is singing, and you can see it coming out of him as like a speech bubble, and it's what he's singing about, which is so cool. So those kind of illustrations go throughout the book, but there's also these beautiful color ones, and this is a really nice architectural one, and they're on a really nice paper. It's really smooth and thick. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's very tactically appealing. And then here's another one of this beautiful tree, and they're really softly done. And they integrate them quite well into the story. Here's another one that goes across the bottom of 2 pages. And they're just throughout the whole book. Less so with the color ones, but it makes a really big impact in how you read the novel and how you interpret the novel, which I think is really interesting. But it kind of reminds me a little bit of Mrs. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, in the way that Ransom Riggs kind of used the old photography to tell his story as well as the images. Really like stories that kind of do a mixed media in that case. So I highly recommend this book. I would not recommend it to small children because of some of the themes I talked about earlier, but if you're a fan of the fantasy genre, I would definitely recommend it. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!